I had run out of water. I passed out onto the sand. There was a seagull that flew over me. And there was this moment of connection where the seagull locked eyes with me. I saw myself through the bird's perspective, looking back at myself, dying on the sand. I am that bird, and that bird is me. That's where I began to not fear death. I find that in a lot of indigenous communities and tribes, they tend to move with flow. Flow is essentially a state of being in which you are in rhythm with your surroundings. But also within rhythm of your own self. I believe that in the Western world, we tend to do the opposite. I was born in the Turks and Caicos Islands, but I moved to Germany as a young kid. So I'm a product of two complete opposite cultures. Relaxation meets structure. I moved to Canada in my teens, and I was a complete stranger. I turned to track and field because it's something I really excelled in. And it also became my passion. I was competing at the top levels for my birth country. But when they couldn't fund the team anymore, everything I had worked so hard towards had completely vanished. I gave in to the pressures of society. I started a business, became a trainer, but something was still missing. I was becoming very depressed, and I didn't understand why. I started walking in nature for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just to clear my head. I thought to myself, while I'm working this great job and I have this beautiful place, why am I still upset? What is it that I really love to do? There are people who are solo walking around the world, and I was really inspired by them. I essentially just quit everything. I decided, okay, I have to absolutely do this. I'm gonna walk the length of Africa. A lot of the things that I learned in Africa had to do with how hospitable human beings were. On the roads, when I was walking, everywhere you go, even if it's a complete stranger, even if they're scared of you, they would just give you a cup of tea, whatever food they have. They were so proud to be kind. The young Maasai men do a sort of mating dance in a way to show their strength to attract a bride. One cannot exist without the other. This is the Ubuntu way, all for one and one for all. And that is to share everything amongst each other within their own society. I ended up joining a few of the Maasai men who go on these walkabouts. I was walking from Tanzania to Kenya, but the Maasai just ended up walking through the border without going through the checks, without doing any of the passports. Because the idea of having borders doesn't exist in traditional Africa. It's a man-made concept. When an astronaut goes out into space and they look down at Earth, they see Earth as one giant blue marble. And that's a thing that, until I die, that's what I want to share with the world. Just by being with nature, you're falling in line with the energy, everything that's going around you. I am that bird, and that bird is me. We are all interconnected. What I do is I go to unique places that are hard to reach, with populations that don't necessarily have the voice to express themselves. The more I involve myself in expeditions and share it with the world, the more I want to do bigger expeditions that inspire more people. Stories that change and impact people's lives for the better. I learn all kinds of wisdom from the people and animals I meet on my travels.
This is our hau'oli, all of our territory, and we fought for that. Huge corporations, fish farms. Sooner or later, we've got to realize that wealth isn't money. Wealth is what we have in our oceans and what we have in our woods, on land. I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for the next 7 generations.
You don't need to dive into the water. You can start shallow and move your way up. Take small steps. Start with small programs. Start with small projects. Go on a trip that initially would have scared you. I feel at peace doing these things. I'm just more happy than I used to be. I'm more free than I used to be. And I feel like I am me. Now you might be asking, how did I survive the situation? I wanted to keep living, and I know that I could experience life in many different ways. I wanted to keep moving forward because I wanted to keep experiencing this way of life. No matter what happens, you are a part of whatever is around you and inside of you. Nothing is separate. Once you get to that state of understanding and being, then life is a beautiful ride.
Code débarquement. Pour left base 2. On y va boucle. Français.
I learned quite a lot during my injury about my body, so yeah, this is probably something I'm really interested in and learning quite a lot. Well, probably right now it's Andorra because it's quite close and it's easy with our son. In summer we normally like to go to Ibiza quite a lot, and well, we try to be in warmer countries. Without any doubt, Ousmane Dembélé. Well, it's as I like to move in Catalonia normally, so the next departure would be probably to go to Costa Brava or something.
A major milestone for the James Webb Space Telescope, what astronomers could learn from a mini monster black hole, and the latest assessment of our planet's global surface temperature. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA.
And we have a fully deployed JWST observatory.
On January 8th, our James Webb Space Telescope team reached a major mission milestone when it finished deploying the telescope's 21-foot primary mirror. That successfully completed the final stage of all major spacecraft deployments needed to prepare for science operations. The next step is to begin moving the 18 primary mirror segments to align the telescope optics, a process that will take months to complete. For more details about the mission, visit nasa.gov/web. Our Chandra X-ray Observatory has identified a supermassive or monster black hole in the dwarf galaxy MRK 462 that could help astronomers learn more about how the very largest black holes grow. This is one of the first times that an obscured supermassive black hole has been found in a dwarf galaxy. MRK 462 contains only several hundred million stars. By contrast, there are a few hundred billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy. According to independent analyses done by NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, our planet's global average surface temperature in 2021 tied with 2018 as the sixth warmest on record. This continues a long-term global warming trend during which the past 8 years have been the warmest years on record. Tracking global temperature trends provides a crucial indicator of the impact human activities are having on the climate and quality of life on Earth. Learn more about NASA's Earth science missions at nasa.gov/earth. On January 10th, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson announced that Dr. Catherine Calvin will serve as the agency's new chief scientist and senior climate advisor. She replaces former chief scientist Jim Green, who recently retired, and Gavin Schmidt, who was serving as the acting senior climate advisor. The Senior Climate Advisor position was established to ensure effective fulfillment of the Biden-Harris administration's climate science objectives for the agency. Also on January 10th, our 10 newest astronaut candidates reported for duty at our Johnson Space Center and were sworn in, kicking off their 2-year training schedule. When their training is complete, they could be assigned to missions aboard the International Space Station, launches from American soil on spacecraft built by commercial companies, or Artemis missions to the Moon with NASA's Orion spacecraft and Space Launch System rocket. As teams continue to prepare our Space Launch System or SLS rocket for this year's uncrewed Artemis 1 flight test around the Moon, we and our partners across the country are also making progress building the rocket for Artemis 2, the first Artemis moon mission with astronauts. We are also busy manufacturing and testing major parts of rocket hardware for the Artemis 3, 4, and 5 missions. With Artemis, we will land the first woman and the first person of color on the Moon and establish long-term lunar exploration in preparation for human missions to Mars. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
Greatness is just being yourself and just dominate at a high level over years and doing things that no one has ever done before. As a junior, I was really talented, but getting into the senior level, I was still kind of young and naive and felt like I didn't need to work as hard to compete at a high level. So I feel like Going to Athens and not actually making it through the first round really helped me to say, you know what, I need to look into myself and understand that if I want to be the best or if I want to win an Olympic gold medal, I need to be more dedicated. I need to work hardest. Justin Gatlin played a very important role in keeping me motivated because he kept me on my toes, he kept me working hard, he kept me knowing that every season he's going to be there. If I want to be the best, I have to be ready and be prepared to beat him. So for me, the rivalries were strong, and for me, Tyson and Justin and Asaf and Blake, they really pushed me throughout my career to stay on top of my game at all times, to be the best me. When I lost at the trials, it was tough for me at the time because I felt like I was in properly good shape. So it's something that it kind of hurt a little bit because I thought I was ready. And so after the trials, it was like, all right, it's just about work. And so it was consistently working 4 times a day for the next 5 weeks leading up to the championships. And so for me, it was a lot of intense work because Blake kind of opened my eyes and I knew he was ready and he was fit and he was running at a high level. The London experience was brilliant. After the semifinals, my confidence went up because I ran fast times, but I did it really easy and really smooth. So my confidence kind of went even higher because I didn't really compete after the trials, so I didn't know where I was. So actually going through the rounds was the first time I actually started running again and could tell that my body was in great shape. So for me, I felt great going through the rounds. I got more and more confidence. I knew I was in great shape to defend my title.
Yeah, perfect, like this. Good?
I think dominating throughout the years is very important to the legacy that I've built for myself. Because anybody can win 1 Olympics, but to actually win 3 back-to-back Olympics over the span of 8 to 10 years is very difficult, you know what I mean? For me, that's how I kept myself motivated and focused because I didn't skip a year. I didn't focus on 4 years to come. I focused on every year throughout because those years were also important to dominate and to keep training and working at a high level. The season that stand out for me was my first one in 2008. That was the first year I really started training at a high level, started doing everything my coach said I should do. So that season was very important and it was very impacting for me. 2015 was one of my toughest seasons competing, but for me the most fulfilling because it really shows that with hard work anything is possible, you know what I mean? I believed in myself. I came out on the day and I just executed, you know what I mean? I believed that I could do it and I got it done. When I watched the Olympics, I really missed it, you know what I mean? Especially watching the men 100 meters and not seeing a Jamaican in the finals, it really made me miss and really wanted to be there. For me, the girls really did extremely well for Jamaica. They really showed up. Again, Carson, as you said, for me, really showed up and blew my mind. You know what I mean? Running 45 seconds over hurdles is no easy feat. And also Alex Felix, she actually got a medal after going through all with having a kid and everything and going through what she did to really show up at the Olympics and really just get on the podium is a massive feat. If I had to relive a moment, it would be 2011. I think for me, that's the only blunder in my career throughout after I started in 2008. So for me, I would definitely want to redo on that one.
January 21st, 1793. In Paris, the French Revolution turns bloody as King Louis XVI, condemned for treason, is executed on the guillotine. 1924, Vladimir Lenin, the Russian revolutionary who founded the Soviet Union, the world's first communist state, dies in Moscow. 1950, in New York, a case sets a flashpoint in American politics during the early years of the Cold War. Alger Hiss, a former State Department official accused of being part of a communist spy ring, is found guilty of lying to a grand jury. Hiss, who always maintained his innocence, serves less than 4 years in prison. 1977, President Jimmy Carter pardons almost all Vietnam War draft evaders, keeping this promise he made on the campaign trail.
And I'm not going to say whether those young people were guilty or not guilty. I'm just going to say what you did, whether it was right or wrong, you're forgiven for it. Come on back home.
1976. The supersonic Concorde jet roars into service for the first time, beginning a run that lasts for nearly 3 decades. And 1942. Count Basie and his orchestra, one of the most popular big bands in the U.S., record their hit, 1 O'Clock Jump. Today in history, January 21st. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The number you have dialed has been changed.
Tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass all down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart, broke it here, made friends and lost them through the years. And I've not seen the rolling fields in so long. I know I've gone, but I can't wait to go home. And I'm on my way, driving at 90 down the country lane, singing to Tiny Dancer. And I miss the way you make me feel. It's real when we watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. 15 years old, smoking and rolled cigarettes, running from the law through the backfields and getting drunk with my friends. My first kiss on a Friday night, I don't reckon that I did it right. I was younger then. Take me back to when we found weekend jobs. We got paid, we'd buy cheap spirits and drink them straight. Me and my friends have not gone out in so long. Oh, how we've gone, but I can't wait to go home. And I'm on my way, driving up 90 down the country lane, singing to Tiny Dancer. And I miss the way you make me feel. It's real when we watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. Over the castle on the hill, we watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. One friend left to sell clothes and one works down by the coast. One had 2 kids but lives alone. One's brother overdosed. One's already on his second wife. one's just barely getting by. These people raise me and I can't wait to go home, and I'm on my way. I still remember these old country lanes when we did not know the answers, and I miss the way you made me feel. It's real for me. Watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. Over the castle on the hill. Watch the sunset over the castle on the hill.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,